Why do the oldest stone monuments on this planet all share the exact same terrifying silent warning? Long before modern text existed, ancient hands carved deep blood-red symbols into unyielding prehistoric granite slabs. Every century, our history books are rewritten, yet these massive, petrified anomalies remain completely untouched by time. Until one day, a terrifying geothermal anomaly began tearing through the dark, frozen heart of Greenland. Deep beneath 3 kilometers of ancient, solid ice, a colossal 2-kilometer structure is suddenly generating immense heat. Because of this anomaly, boiling ancient meltwater containing unknown biological matter is now forcing its way upward. Science remains entirely powerless to explain how an engineered relic could burn beneath a frozen wasteland for millennia. What if our world is not experiencing a natural warming, but an ancient, buried mechanism slowly waking up? Far from the frozen north, an equally disturbing mechanical pulse echoes from a lonely, barren earthen mound. For thousands of years, vast rivers of toxic liquid mercury have circulated perfectly inside this sealed imperial tomb. Recent subsurface muon scans revealed millions of giant bronze gears seamlessly interlocking and turning in total darkness. The terrifying truth is that this tomb was never designed as a resting place for a dead emperor. It is an active, geocentric clockwork matrix, actively locking the flow of time across the entire continent. Meanwhile, at the absolute dark bottom of the Mariana Trench, the abyss hides something even more ominous. Crushing ocean pressures break titanium, yet a perfect geometric Hakthack polyhedron sits completely undisturbed in sediment. This massive black polyhedron remains frozen in the dark ocean muck, completely untouched by the extreme deep-sea currents. Every advanced acoustic sensor deployed by researchers over decades was instantly absorbed into its dark, non-reflective surface. Ancient records describe a cosmic anchor that descended from the heavens long before the vast oceans even formed. Because of its ancient placement, the tectonic plates of our world have been locked in a rigid matrix. Yet, modern geology deliberately buries these terrifying ocean readings to prevent our historical timeline from collapsing entirely. The deep-sea anomaly remains unanswered, while another grand deception lies waiting beneath the shifting Sahara sands. For generations, the famous Eye of Sahara was casually dismissed as a simple, ordinary, concentric rock formation. Until recent subsurface geological scans penetrated 40 meters deep into the golden, wind-swept desert floor. Deep beneath the heavy sand lies an immense, perfectly symmetrical geometric ring made of a dense ancient alloy. This unknown metalloid compound possesses a specific molecular structure completely missing from our modern periodic table. Geologists quickly hid the raw structural data to avoid admitting that an advanced global civilization once built here. The terrifying layout suggests this ancient desert structure operated as a monumental planetary energy focal point. Every stone circle in this dead wasteland shows deep, petrified thermal scars from an ancient cataclysmic event. A sudden, blinding surge of raw energy once turned this thriving ancient metropolis into a calcified desert. While Earth hides these colossal scarred structures, the cosmic void above whispers an even darker, more terrifying truth. For decades, cosmic telescopes pointed toward the cold void have captured only the rhythmic hiss of silent cosmic radiation. But from the distant constellation Cygnus, an ancient signal suddenly pierced the dark vacuum of interstellar space. This anomalous transmission repeats perfectly along a natural Fibonacci sequence, deflecting every attempt at simple explanation. Deep within the mathematical core of this signal lies the primordial genetic blueprint of our own species. Global space agencies immediately classified the transmission, hiding the horrific files beneath layers of official denial. This is not a welcome greeting from a living world, but a dark, dying echo from a ghost planet. The distant civilization that transmitted our genetic code was entirely erased from reality millions of years ago. We are not native children of Earth, but cosmic refugees abandoned on a cold, pre-programmed planet. Every monumental anomaly we discover across the globe points back to the same dark, forgotten origin. From the melting ice blocks of Greenland to the vast, scorched concentric circles of the dry Sahara, the massive scale of these petrified ruins exposes the ultimate fragility of modern human historical understanding. Our most advanced institutions look at these immense structural wonders and choose to maintain a coordinated silence. Because admitting the truth means accepting that humanity is merely a temporary tenant on this dark planet. We are simply rebuilding our fragile world on top of a grand, ancient necropolis of dead technology. The ancient cycle is slowly resetting itself beneath our feet, and the next sweeping purge has already begun. The terrifying global alignment of these 5 anomalies completely invalidates our current understanding of ancient human history. Why do the heavy geographic lines mapped across Greenland connect flawlessly with the massive rings of Sahara? Every deep-sea sediment core extracted near the Mariana polyhedron reveals an unexplainable global thermal spike. The hard evidence suggests an advanced global network operated perfectly long before our Stone Age began. Yet, academic institutions consistently choose to classify these massive geological anomalies under a coordinated media silence. They bury the raw data because the truth forces us to confront our own terrifying insignificance. We proudly look at our modern skyscrapers, totally blind to the monumental ruins crumbling beneath our feet. Every deep mountain crevice and scorched desert plain holds the silent remnants of an erased epoch. The ancient mechanical pulse buried inside the imperial mound continues its slow, rhythmic, geocentric countdown. As the massive subglacial structure beneath Greenland radiates higher temperatures, the global oceans respond. The dark matte black polyhedron at the bottom of the abyss is slowly shifting its orientation. The cosmic transmission from the dead star system Cygnus was never an invitation for contact. It was an automated execution command sent across light years to reset a pre-programmed planetary cycle. Humanity is not the apex of evolution, but a temporary infestation on a highly controlled planet. The final sweeping purge is silently accelerating, and our fragile civilization has run out of time. The haunting reality of these monolithic patterns shifts our focus toward another immense, undisturbed geographic anomaly. High above the desolation, ancient mountain ranges exhibit unnatural, straight-cut lines that defy all tectonic logic. Every smooth vertical rock face suggests the application of an immense, forgotten thermal energy source. Long before modern tools carved stone, these gargantuan mountain walls were severed with absolute mathematical precision. Science attempts to classify these smooth mountain cuts as simple, random products of natural glacial erosion. But nature never creates perfectly mirrored geometric angles across miles of hard, solid volcanic basalt blocks. Deep within these severed valleys, old stone foundations stand entirely immune to structural decay and weathering. The sheer scale of these petrified platforms dwarfs any architecture created by modern human engineering, What if these colossal stone floors served as an ancient planetary grid system before recorded time? A silent, global network that hummed with immense power long before our ancestors struck flint. Every ancient civilization that followed merely inherited these monumental foundations, calling them holy mountain sanctuaries. They carved their own primitive symbols over the pre-existing, hyper-advanced architectural remnants left behind. Yet, our modern history textbooks intentionally bypass these staggering physical anomalies to preserve a fragile lie. They keep the collective public blind to avoid admitting that a superior epoch completely vanished. Beneath these majestic, silent stone ruins lie a dark, terrifying secret waiting for the final countdown. The petrified geometric markings carved along these majestic mountain faces point directly toward another staggering geographic anomaly. Deep beneath the heavy, shifting sediment of coastal waters, enormous stone walls stretch for unbroken miles. These massive underwater ramparts exhibit a uniform density that completely refutes any natural tectonic or volcanic formation. Every weathered block fits into the next with an uncanny precision that defies modern undersea archaeological understanding. For decades, oceanographers deliberately classified these immense submerged networks as simple, accidental products of limestone erosion. But nature never deposits heavy mineral layers into perfectly straight, 90-degree geometric angles along deep ocean plains. The sheer physical weight of these flooded foundations dwarfs any maritime structure created by modern coastal engineering. What if these colossal drowned corridors formed a vast global harbor network before recorded sea levels rose? An ancient maritime grid system that operated fluidly long before human history even recorded its first voyage. Every subsequent seafaring culture merely built on top of these pre-existing, hyper-advanced stone harbors in total ignorance. Yet, our modern academic publications consistently bypass these massive maritime structures to protect a fabricated timeline. They intentionally hide the raw sonar readings to avoid admitting that a global superpower existed before history. Far from the ocean shores, another dark physical relic stands silently in a deep, landlocked canyon. An immense monolithic spire, completely carved out of a single piece of dense, dark iron ore mountain bedrock. This titanic obelisk stands completely immune to oxidation, holding a dark secret that boggles the human mind. This massive iron obelisk stands in total geological isolation, entirely free from any known forms of tectonic erosion. Every scientific attempt to determine its absolute age encounters an unexplainable, structural loop within carbon dating. Ancient oral traditions of distant desert cultures speak of a dark pillar that crashed down from the stars. Because of its deeply buried geometric base, the surrounding magnetic fields remain warped across an immense perimeter. Yet, official geological archives completely scrub these massive magnetic anomalies to maintain a highly controlled historical timeline. They purposefully hide the raw data because admitting its existence destroys our fragile illusions of human progress. Far from the landlocked canyons, a matching dark physical phenomenon lies hidden deep beneath the jungle floor. An immense, perfectly flat subterranean stone terrace stretching for miles beneath dense, ancient tropical roots. This titanic basalt matrix exhibits an extreme structural density that totally refutes any ordinary volcanic crystallization. Every colossal interlocking slab fits with an uncanny precision completely impossible for primitive Stone Age cultures. For generations, modern academic institutions casually dismissed this vast hidden floor as a simple, natural formation. But nature never patterns hard volcanic minerals into flawless, 90-degree interlocking grids across massive mountain valleys. The sheer physical footprint of this buried architecture completely dwarfs any modern concrete foundations built today. What if these monumental structures operated as a massive global energy grid before human history started? A silent, petrified technological network that hummed with vast power long before our modern epoch began. This vast, silent, subterranean basalt matrix operates entirely beyond the scope of conventional geological evolution. Every advanced thermal sensor placed across these heavy stones registers an unexplainable, structural energetic pattern. Ancient regional legends of long-forgotten empires whisper of a majestic foundation laid by celestial architects. Because of its monumental depth, the local planetary crust has remained structurally anchored for epochs. Yet, modern mainstream institutions purposely bury these staggering physical anomalies to safeguard their fragile historical timeline. They meticulously redact the field logs because admitting its existence destroys our comfortable illusions of human supremacy. Far from the deep jungle floors, a matching ancient anomaly stands exposed on a high, wind-swept ridge. An immense megalithic stone circle, composed of raw blocks displaying incredible, localized magnetic polarization. This titanic primitive circle stands completely impervious to seasonal frost erosion, baffling every modern researcher. Every weathered monolith aligns perfectly with distant, dead star groups that faded from view millennia ago. Mathematical analysis reveals a flawless astronomical calculation embedded within the massive spacing of these heavy pillars. Nature simply cannot arrange heavy stone masses into precise, multi-mile geometric arrays across mountain plateaus. The sheer weight of these prehistoric arrangements dwarfs any infrastructure created by modern mechanical crane systems. What if these monumental rings served as an active celestial navigation network before human history began? A silent, petrified coordinate system that tracked the cold cosmos long before our modern calendar existed. This massive stone ring network operates completely outside the boundary lines of primitive hunter-gatherer migrations. Every subsurface scan deployed across these heavy pillars traces an interconnected geometric alignment of massive proportions. Ancient structural records carved into sheer canyon walls speak of great stone dials that measured cosmic dawn. Because of its immense geological footprint, the surrounding mountain system forms a flawless celestial mirror grid. Yet, official historical commissions intentionally erase these staggering astronomical calculations to preserve their fragile evolutionary theories. They thoroughly redact the survey reports because admitting this complexity completely invalidates our current technological timeline. Far from the wind-swept mountain ridges, another dark monolithic marvel stands choned deep inside an empty valley. An immense subterranean staircase made of polished dark hawkthite, extending deep into unmapped crust layers. This titanic stone descent exhibits a flawless structural consistency that completely refutes any random seismic fracturing. Every gigantic steps down fits with a mathematical precision totally impossible for early nomadic tribes. For generations, modern archaeological societies casually dismissed this deep underground opening as a simple natural cavern. But nature never cuts hard crystalline minerals into perfectly flat 90-degree steps across miles of bedrock. The sheer weight of these buried structures completely dwarfs any modern architectural foundations built in this century. What if these monumental subterranean avenues functioned as an active global network before human civilization emerged? A silent, petrified matrix that anchored the shifting surface long before our earliest records were scratched. The terrifying alignment of these physical structures suggests a unified planetary mechanism completely operating on a cosmic scale. As modern science struggles to ignore these anomalies, the deep countdown continues toward an inevitable structural reset. We are merely transient witnesses to an ancient global framework that will outlast our fragile historical memory. The final sweeping cycle is silently accelerating beneath the surface, and our time has officially run out. This documentary is for education only, based on real sources. Theories are not facts.